Would you like to schedule your Pinterest pins for free? Well, today I have the perfect tutorial for you with a couple of hitches. Now, I don't think a lot of people actually realize that they can use the Pinterest native scheduler to schedule their pins. And if you didn't realize this, well, great news for you. You can actually schedule your pins totally for free. Now, this is the most basic Pinterest scheduler ever. There are quite a lot of features missing, and I'm hoping in the coming years they'll actually beef this thing up. But you can schedule your pins totally free right inside of Pinterest. There are a couple of things that you will want to know. First, you can only schedule within this current 2-week time frame. So from the date that you log in to schedule your pin, you only get about 12 to 14 days to actually schedule your pins. Once you have scheduled them, there is no going back. You can publish now or delete them, and that's it. So why don't we just jump right on into the tutorial so you can see exactly how this process works, and then you can leave me comments in the comment section down below if you need any further guidance. To schedule your Pinterest pins using the native scheduler, you want to start out by having your content already ready. So you want to have your pin title, description, and images already prepared. That way, when you go in to create your pins, all you have to do is copy and paste everything in and choose a board and then schedule it. Now, a couple of things to note before we get started is you can only publish within the 2-week time frame that you're inside of, and you cannot save any of these pins as a draft. And then also, when you go to look at your scheduled pins, I pre-scheduled a couple so you could see what this looks like. You cannot schedule any, like you can publish these now and delete them, but you cannot edit any that are already scheduled. So what you need to know, and I'm going to go ahead and delete these so I don't have to, I don't republish them all. I'm going to leave one just so this stays here. So what you have to do if you make an error is you have to delete it and then re-upload it. So those are some of the drawbacks of using the native scheduler is you don't have as many of the feature sets that the scheduling tools have. You literally just get the most basic scheduling tool. However, it is free, and freemium is always better than paid. So what we want to do here is pull in the Pinterest image that we want to schedule. And then I've pre-written my title and headline, so I can just paste it in. Now, on my previous native scheduling tutorial, I walked you through how I scheduled a full week of content using the same pin. But Pinterest doesn't actually encourage you to do any repinning or saving to multiple boards anymore. So what I am doing now is if you use the native scheduler, is you have to come back in and create fresh pins and schedule those as well. So what I would do in this case is I would add a second version, and I have a second version here on my desktop, and then you would just copy everything over. So in this case, what you can do to save yourself some time is duplicate this one and remove this image and upload the second image. If it's the same pin going to the same place, you can change the title a little bit if you would like to, and as well as the actual text overlay. If they're different, you can change your title. And then from there, you're just going to choose your boards. Now, I did test this out because they changed some of this. So I'm going to change the boards that these are going to. And so we're going to 2 different boards. And then when we go to actually publish this, we don't want them going out right away at the same time. So I would choose like the 30th at 12 p.m. And then I would come in here and go as far out as I can. So like the 8th at a different time if you want to. And then you would schedule this set. So what I prefer to do when we're using the native scheduler for clients is to schedule any pins in the same URL set that we're going to do. So just like what you're seeing me do right here on the screen. And then I will pull in the next URL set. So if there's 2 pins going to URL 1, 2 pins going to URL 2, I will schedule URL 1 first, and then I'll bring URL 2 in. That way, if any of my work gets lost, I know I'm only working with this one set of pins right now. Now, I do want to mention there is a save from website feature, and this is new from the last scheduling tutorial I created on this topic. However, When you do that, it will only allow you to create a pin from that URL and publish now. It doesn't actually let you schedule it for later. So you put the URL in, you hit enter, and then it'll pull up whatever images are associated with that URL. And for me, it's just my thumbnail image, so I don't actually want that. So let me show you one with my blog post. And I just want you to see the difference in how this works. So if we click that and we click next, it's going to say, hey, go ahead and choose a board and click save, and that's it. You're limited to saving it now versus scheduling it for later. So if you use that feature of save from a website, know that it's not going to let you save it or schedule it for later. You have to pull it into the Create tab. Now, if you are a product seller, the Create tab will also allow you to add product tags. So depending on the destination URL, when you bring in an image, you get this product tagging feature. So e-commerce sellers, I do encourage my mentees as well as clients to tag their products in their pins. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a product pin for you. So when you see product pins on the platform, especially with clothing brands or other e-commerce brands, then when you click on it, there's going to be products listed underneath. So let me see if like McGee & Co. does product tagging. Most big brands don't do product tagging. But then what would happen is underneath this pin, there would be tagged products attached to it. So when you see that, when other people see that, they can see this is a product pin. Other pins, other products are tagged to this product. And then any of these, it'll say the price, it'll give you any reviews, shipping details, and then there will be the shop tab if you have an e-commerce store. So just know that that is also available to you. Now, a couple of other things to note inside of the native scheduler that you might want to be aware of is you can actually crop images to be different sizes that are very Pinterest specific. I always default 2 to 3. This is 1000 by 1500 made in Canva. But if you pull in an image that isn't 1000 by 1500, let's delete this one and pull in one of my clients' images. So I have this little boy image. If we go to edit and we make it 2 to 3, it'll crop it in. And then this is original was 3 to 4, but 2 to 3 we can crop it in. We can also adjust the image. So if you upload an image that isn't upright, you can adjust it and then mirror image that option. And then you can change your image and bring in a new one in here, as well as move the image around. And then inside of the star, you can add logos. So if you wanted to add your logo, this is a very old logo of mine. You can add your logos and tell it where you want it to be, and then position it in different places. You can also do a color fill if you want. And then you can also add some text inside of this editor. Now, this isn't very great. I don't generally suggest using this, but you can if you wanted to. So you could say like cute little boy outfits. And then you can move that around. You can also, with the background on this, you can make like a text make a text overlay. And then if you wanted to move it, and it's at the bottom right now, so you can do bottom, middle, top. So just know that that's available to you, but this is not best practice of what I recommend you actually do. And then also you would add your title, description, and destination URL if you're an e-com seller. And then the last thing I wanted to point out is you can create carousels inside of the Pinterest native app, whereas most scheduling tools, I'm thinking all of them, don't actually allow you to create any carousels. So if you wanted to create a multi-slide pin, you could do that. So this would be slide 1 and slide 2. And then inside here, you can even go and like move them around. So that is how to use the native Pinterest scheduler. Now, once you schedule these, let me actually delete this one and schedule them, and I'll show you where they live. So we have our boards set, we have our strategy or our description and everything set. So we're just going to click one of the buttons and then click select all and publish. Now, there may be a glitch that happens from time to time. If you see a glitch happen, now when you schedule multiple, you're not going to get the red button that says see scheduled pins. However, if you go to Pinterest.com/your profile URL. So you can see mine is Heather Farris Co. /scheduled-pins. It'll bring you to this screen. So I just scheduled those other two. So if you hop in here and I refresh, you can see that I have now scheduled them, the other two. I deleted the others so I wouldn't be duplicating anything. So this is exactly how you can use Pinterest to schedule your pins natively. That tutorial out of the way, you now know how to native schedule your pins right inside of Pinterest.com. With a couple of glitches in that tutorial, of course, I want to include them. That way you know what happens on a routine basis with the Pinterest platform. Sometimes those things happen and I wanted you to actually be able to see that. So I wanted to include that in this tutorial. So if you need that URL for finding your scheduled pins, it's down in the description box below. It's gonna be Pinterest.com/your username, so mine is Heather Farris Co. /scheduled-pins. That way, if this glitch comes up again, you can actually find your scheduled pins and you can manipulate them if you need it. Now, if you are not really keen on scheduling your pins natively and you would like more control over when you can schedule your pins and editing them or manipulating them in any way, I really encourage you to head right on over to the I tested 4 Pinterest schedulers video so you can see the 4 other schedulers outside of Tailwind that you can use that Pinterest approves. So that's it for this week. I'll see you next week.